I do remember going to my first Pride event in 1986. It was very exhilarating. It was very wonderful to be around all of these people, this huge number of people, because we didn't see this whole group of people. We were a community that was not gathered on a regular basis, but we had this one opportunity, one day a year, to be able to do that.
A very good friend of mine who is no longer with us, Bill Miles, invited me to participate and volunteer, so I did. And I had so much fun, and I didn't know a soul, but I met people soon, and it was just spectacular.
I had no idea what Pride was. I'd heard about it, I think I'd seen it on Queer as Folk, and I ended up with my first set of Pride beads and my very first, dive into the water introduction to Pride and gay life in Washington.
I just marched with the Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce in the parade. And it was so much fun, and it was just such an eye-opening experience to see everybody come together, just having a really fun, exciting time together.
A memorable moment for me is definitely one from my first year as executive director. That year we had Pepper Mache performing, and if you remember her song, Let's Get Soaking Wet, and it just hit me at the moment in time, all right, let's try to get that fire truck to spray some water right at the right time. That just really solidified in my brain of just the impact of just the crowd and the energy and the excitement that we can create.
To be on stage with Deborah Cox while she was performing at the Pride Festival was really amazing, right? And it is an experience that not everyone, I think, has. So to be able to be on stage and see her perform, and then also look out over the crowd and see just the great time that people were having was awesome.
So one of my favorite memories of Capitol Pride is when we had Tammy Faye Baker. So standing backstage with her and Bruce Valanche and Lady Bunny was, one of those photos that you just can't recreate.
When I was awarded the Engendered Spirit Award for 2013, got the opportunity to ride in a car, and I said, the only really way that I would want to do it is if I would have had my mom in the car with me. And she's been so supportive throughout my whole life. She was just so excited. So to have my mom experience one of the greatest moments of my life, to have my mom beside it, it's just, it's touching. It's getting me teary-eyed.
One of my favorite memories of Pride comes in from 2008. And that year, unfortunately, it rained on the parade. And what I remember is that it didn't bother anybody. The crowds were there, the participants were there, so we were not going to be deterred. A little rain was not going to bother us.
I think in 10 years, we're certainly going to have Capitol Pride, and we're going to need it. Just because we're making all of these advances now on the political front doesn't necessarily mean that we can kind of take a step back and say, okay, our job's done.
So I believe maybe starting it in 2012, maybe not a little bit sooner, Capitol Pride started its Have Pride 365 campaign, and so it's evolving.
With our last couple of years, we've gone Pride 365, and that's what sets us apart. Pride isn't a weekend in June. Pride isn't a parade in June. Pride is every single solitary day of the week.
One of the questions that we get is, do we still need to do this? And I asked myself that maybe about 10 years ago. And the answer that I come up with now is a resounding yes, we do. Because there are many people who are happy, thrilled, excited that we're still here, we're still doing this. It's always somebody's first time at Pride.
We will definitely always need Pride. 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. One, just to acknowledge the history of that first march, Stonewall, wanting to fight for our rights. But then again, there's always going to be a new frontier, a new challenge that we have to fight for ourselves or fight for others. So who's at the table acknowledging Pride, I think, is going to change. I think it's going to get bigger. And I think we need to be ready for that and open to that. But we always need to be willing to push to say, hey, we need to promote Pride, we need to have pride in ourselves, pride in others, because ultimately that will continue to show progress and move this country forward, move this world forward, and hopefully allow everyone to have a voice.